everyone. My name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So, what are we working on today? Well, we're going to be working on Pojedynek Kobiet and our fair Kobietas. You may be wondering, Notepad, why the fuck are you streaming? It's Tuesday, and because I had an idea, and I wanted to get like this little section done, like down to adrenaline, but then I was like, oh, well, I can do breakdown of a round. Oh, I can do stances and styles. Oh, I can just do all these things. I'm like, oh, I should actually probably stream this. So here we are. You know that thing when I said I was going to do combat on Wednesday? Well, we're doing it now. Hi, phone. How are you? What would you like to talk about? Are you here to talk about my dank memes that I keep sending people? No, it's a Kermit meme. Of course. Kermit memes. Alright. I also got a good justification to drink my triple Carmelite. Carmelite. It's a 3 grain beer. A very nice German. Already kind of drinking this. Already. That shit's heavy. I like it though, but I like heavy beer, so I'm a weirdo. I always find it funny when people are like, "Oh God, heavy beer." And it's like, yeah, I love eating my beer. Let's see. So, what did I actually do? So, we scroll all the way up here. Effectively, drawn swords and fiery hearts, duels. We have adrenaline. Adrenaline is exactly as it sounds. I kind of discussed that earlier, but everyone gets a set amount of points, which act as effectively their dice that they are allowed to use at various situations. And from there, they can decide what they actually want to do. In this case, fight one another. So, of course, the duel, every character has a base of 10 adrenaline situation. Adrenaline. Situation can reduce it. So pretty much having a positive relationship with someone reduces your amount, while having a negative relationship increases. Pretty much you're more heated up when you're fighting someone you don't like. However, you can also get poisoned, be injured, or acting at disadvantage. Like hey, I want to fight in the sun. You know, I want to fight with my back to the sun. Suddenly you have a less advantage. And you're having penalties of when you actually... Oh God, people are pinging. Why? Oh God. Not this again. People are pinging me when they shouldn't. God, general chat was a mistake. But effectively, you lose adrenaline if you have a disadvantage. You gain adrenaline if you do have an advantage. And pretty much every round is broke down into 3 specific phases: the standoff, bout, and recover. The standoff I actually got from Legend of the Five Rings, and I thought that was a really solid idea because it kind of gives people a moment to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to. This is what I actually want to select and how I want to do that. And everyone gains more adrenaline. Every round that you're in, you're gaining more and more adrenaline, meaning that people are becoming more dangerous, more deadly. Things are getting more serious. And generally, because one bad hit late round can, by the end of a fight, after about 4 or 5 rounds of fighting, there's a good chance someone can die very easily, because that's 4 or 5 more dice being dedicated to any roll. More dice being rolled for combat fates. That's more dice being rolled for, you know, abilities or callouts or anything, really. So, the bout is pretty much the main combat, in which pretty much the bout is the overall phase, while clashes are the little micro phases inside of that phase. which I actually had to ask people about because I'm like, this is a really awkward way of saying this, and they're just like, yeah, there's no good way of saying it. And so this is where all clashes are declared at this point. Clashes can actions taken can disrupt a character's chain of clashes, losing them a chunk of their expended AD. So pretty much everything is based on combos. It's I spend, let's say I have six dice to play with, 6 adrenaline for my offense. I could say I want to spend 4 on my first one. I want to send my first clash. I want to spend 4 dice to make an upward slash. I want to just slash at their legs, see if I can't disable them. While that last two dice I have, I can say, okay, I want to use that last 2 for my second clash to do a call out. You know, I just want to do a quick word at them to fuck with them. Or I want to, so clash 1, clash 2, and everyone acts at the same time. So when I say, okay, clash 1 goes out, everyone's clash 1 goes out, and then everyone's clash 2. So this does mean, by technicality, no one can act an entire bout, and everyone still gains up one adrenaline at the beginning of the next round, as you guys just circle each other, angrily kind of trying to posture and trying to get the other to fight you. And then finally we have the recovery phase, which is like the ending. If someone is injured, as someone is going down, you recover all your adrenaline, you start out. However, if someone is, loses, it's like, hey, first blood, someone's injured, they're immediately taken off the field, and the other opponent wins, and the challenger wins. However, when it comes to stance and style, this is, I've been referring to stance and style all throughout a lot of the mechanical parts of this game. However, the idea behind it is you have your basic stance of defensive, cautious, offensive, and what you get a bonus amount of dice equal to your whatever your attribute is. So if you have a high composure, you want to go into defensive. If you have high wits, you want to be cautious. If you have high bravado, you want to go offensive. However, people are going to know that you're doing that. If I have really high bravado, I'm probably going to want to go on the offensive more often, because that's what benefits me. It's historical artwork. This is actually the Emancipation Duel. The entire thing this game is based on, and this is actually the second set of tits in this game, actually. There you go. Unless you derive sexual satisfaction from it, technically it's okay. A very bizarre way of thinking. It is technically alright. So, double, luckily, I'm also small enough that I don't think they would care. Accurate. So our final little bit here is the style. Pretty much this is how you're holding your sword. If we use this image here as an example, actually, okay, you can't see it. The woman on the right is using a short style. The woman on the left is using a long style. Long style is far more offensive. Short style is far more passive and far more defensive. So it's kind of that, how do you want to position yourself? If you're really offensive, you may want to stick with short style, because you can kind of use what abilities you have on you and kind of chain together things easier. However, if you want to go defensive, maybe going long style is more your style, because you can hold them at bay and punish them if they get close. So that's kind of the basics here, and it's not the most elegant solution available, but it was the only one that I could really think of at the top of my head, which kind of brings me to here, in which I've been working on how clashes work, which is also one of the main reasons I decided, hey, maybe I should actually stream this, because, fun fact, that's kind of what I do. It's kind of the entire purpose of this thing. And unfortunately for me, I'm also an idiot and decided, yeah, it's I kept going back and forth because half of me wants to do this alphabetical. The other half of me wants to make this alphabetical. So I did neither alphabetical. So it's just like nothing quite. I guess I could do cautious, defensive, offensive, defensive. Yeah, let's do offensive, defensive. I think this works a little bit. Oh god, it broke. No, style. Style, please, no. Not like this. You were the chosen one, style. You weren't... You're supposed to stay formatted correctly, not break down completely. Kind of the idea behind it is offensive is you're going full ham on someone, like you are just jumping forward. I want to stab you. I want to hurt you. I want to hit you. Defensive is like, okay, I'm holding back a little bit. I'm kind of guessing, kind of like, I know you're going to attack me, so I'm putting myself on the defense. Cautious is like, I can strike, but I'm also trying to keep myself protected. So it's kind of that back and forth of like, oh, well, I can defend myself, but I'm also going to poke you a little bit. You know, I'm cautiously attacking you, and I'm cautiously kind of defending yourself. Like, it's not really your ideal one, which is also kind of the main thing here, is that cautious is not great because you don't have the full offensive capability of offense or the full defensive capability of defense. You're kind of half-halving it and hoping that, you know, you can break them so you can punish them. It's your punishment stance more than anything. Because if this works the way that I'm thinking it's going to work, two offensive people can immediately jump up, stab one another in the face, and die equally. They can both kill one another in a single hit. So that's the part I'm a little bit worried about. And cautious is to, you know, hopefully prevent things like that. So we don't want people randomly dying. Offensive. So let's see. So for the clashes, for the offensive clashes are... No, I'm going to call these strikes for now. So we're going to have our basic strikes. We're going to have our upward strike, downward strike, left strike, right strike. Stab. So up, down, left, right. Because this is, instead of having just a basic strike, I'm going to have to do something more fencing like. So it's, okay, okay, I'm going to the left. Okay, I'm going to the right. Okay, I'm going up. And you maybe give them a, yeah, I think this is going to be the only way that'll make it work. Add on sort paragraph A to Z. Comes to stabs. Because the idea is your strikes are your cardinal directions. It's, I want to do a downward strike. That is me, I'm going to attempt to take your head off. It's me slashing downward, slashing at your head to hit your hit your head and your torso. Your left strike is going to be your left arm, your right strike is going to be your right arm, and your upward strikes are going to be your, actually what I should do is a sweep strike. That's it. So your left strike's more, oof. See, I can go really ham on this. The idea is I can go really ham on this and make it something like upper left, lower, you know, upper left, upper right, upper left, you know, lower right, upper right. And then do like, okay, chest sweep, lower, you know, upper sweep, lower sweep. And then upward strike, left, upward strike, right. I could do that. And that technically does work. but I don't think I want to do that because I think that'll completely bog down this game. So yeah, I think I'll do this. So the upward, okay, downward strikes. Okay. Control Shift 8. That's Song of Swords. It's one of the ideas behind this game is actually to make a much simpler game than Song of Swords. There's a lot that goes into it, but you got to remember, like, all of this, add more on top of it. That's Song of Swords. There's a lot when it comes to that game, and I was having to read through it. Actually, Gino recommended it to me when I was reading through everything. There's initiative values, your adroitness, what kind of weapons you're using, your reaches affect your initiative value in some cases. I might do a few test fights just to make sure that it works. I might just make 2 random characters and have them duel, or I'll have everyone do some, or have everyone just or just have a few characters and just have them duel each other. See who wins. And see who dies horribly. Because again, ask Gino if you want to see some of the combats there. They get really into it, like Song of Swords, because you have to worry about your lower legs, your upper legs, lower arm, upper arms, your upper chest, your lower chest, your head. Like, there's a bunch that goes into that. Here it's just legs, arms, chest, head. And that's it. All you have to really worry about. And the fact that everything is going to be roughly swords in some capacity. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about, like, oh, hey, did you specialize in polearm combat using one hand or something? No, it's swords. In variations of swords. Okay, so if we do this correctly, so it... Kobieta. Okay, so a stab would be... Wait a second, so we're going to have to add... What weapons have to have? So weapons are roughly going to have a slashing value, stabbing value, reach, and weight. Yeah, we have to do something like that. Value is pretty much how much damage you're going to do plus successes. We do damage plus successes. Yeah, I think that works. Let's see. It makes it dedicated. Because the idea being that certain weapons are going to be better at slashing and doing other things. Because something like a great sword, for example, that the Saxor use, that's going to be an incredibly heavy weapon that you could beat someone out of if you have a faster weapon. I'm going to stab you in the chest as you're winding up your big hit against me. I'm going to dash forward and stab you in the chest. You're going to be dead before you even swing. So they have to play very differently. But if they do hit me, I'm not going to have limbs anymore. Oh no. Or you get the or you end up with things like the rapier, which the rapier has a negative value for their slashing. So you're going to do no damage with slashing. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to go for stabs. You go for your big stab right, it's you stabbing your rapier straight into their eye, or you stabbing them in the arm, to disable it. That's what you're supposed to do with a rapier. You're not supposed to slash with it. But you can slash with it if you want to screw with your opponent. I feel like there should be something else here. I don't know what. Slap someone around. Yeah, that's completely valid if you just want to fuck with someone. Because what pretty much damage is going to be is it's going to be the X value plus successes. So, if you want to just use, say, a rapier to slap, if you want to beat someone with a rapier via slasher, it's possible. But you're just going to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to have like a -2 slashing damage plus my 2 successes. I'm going to do 0 damage, 0 damage because I'm just going to start grazing you. However, if I score 4 successes over you, I'm going to do 2 damage, which is going to be a decent chunk because you slash someone with a fucking sword. I should put in something that... that's actually not a bad idea. Slash stab. Kobiet 10. Oh, I think I put... It's a top part of this. Yes, it is. Funny you mentioned that, because pretty much how I want taunts to work is I want to tie it to the 3 attributes, because everything's going to have to be based around those attributes in one way or another, and the idea is you have to use bravado if you want to try to taunt someone. If I'm using bravado against your taunt, I pretty much you can spend it instead of attacking or doing anything like that. You can taunt your opponent to do that, and you roll your bravado versus their composure. And if you're successful, if you beat them, they have to make a decision. They can either take it, which they reduce the amount of adrenaline with their current actions. They have to reduce the amount of dice they're rolling among what they plan on doing by the number of successes you scored. Or they do or they have to make an attack. They pretty much attack you quickly, which could mean, oh hey, I no longer have any defense. No, I have to change all my defense into attacking you straight up, which may be part of the plan. Being like, oh hey, I'm going to screw with you. You have no defense now. Oh sorry, I fainted and now I'm going to stab you in the eye. I want to kind of apply the social combat triangle to that. I don't quite know how I want to do composure outside of it's a gamble taunting someone, because if they don't care or they kind of make a snide remark back, it's you suffer the same consequence. So it's kind of the back and forth. I kind of wanted to do the Monkey Island thing. Why I'm deciding to put Monkey Island in this game, who knows? But that reminds me, I need to make distance. The battlefield. Luckily for the Kobiet, for the Pojedynek Kobiet. Pojedynek Kobiet. This is a dedicated dueling room, as specified by the modern. Each challenger because one thing I want to do is I want to be able to get inside the distance of certain weapons. Like great swords being right up in their grill is going to be a kind of a hard thing for them to deal with, because it is a giant fuck off sword, but they want to keep you at a distance, and they're going to punish you if you do get close. It's them, making, quick attack as you try to move in. And so it's kind of that, okay, when is it the best time for me to move in versus when is it the best time for me to pull back? Which is why greatsword duels are very, not fun. By the Imperial Auditor and the challengers, each challenge. Distance. As specified by the Imperial Auditor and the challengers, each challenger is specified amount of steps away from each other. A challenge may spend their AD, their adrenaline, to move a step during any clash forward or backward. All weapons have a do this. So if Kobieta comes within distance of an enemy with a longer reaching weapon, they have the option of making an attack. Making an attack, making a... God, what's the best way of doing this? Because pretty much what I want to do is I want to put the taunt... One of the ideas of the taunt is to force someone to come closer to you so you can punish them. It's the, you know, the kind of the back and forth. God, if Kobieta comes within distance of an enemy with a longer reaching weapon, they have... Defensive... into a single expend any into a single strike against them. Equal to their style. So okay, so yeah, so long style, the idea is that you want to bait them closer and then you can punish them a lot more because long style gives you more dice actually work with, but the idea is that it's who closes the distance first, so it's you kind of going back and forth. Actually, if a Kobieta actually, God, pretty much how do I want to word this? One of the ideas is you can't really do this if they are within their range to attack you. You know, as you know, it's really only for like longer reaching weapons, things like great swords. If Kobiet comes with them. Of equal length. So if Kobiet comes within distance of an enemy with long reaching weapon, they have the option to expend any defense adrenaline in a single strike against them. This does not apply to the challenges weapons of equals. Okay, let's see. If a Kobieta is too close for the weapon. Too close for the weapon to be effective. If a Kobieta is too close for the weapon's strikes or veil, they are unable to be used. And next we do step distance. 1 step. No, not arms. So each step is... God, okay. You know you're getting serious. I got it. Yeah, let's see if I can do this right. So if I actually had to watch an absurd amount of YouTube videos on fencing, on like Olympic fencers and how they do things. So if I put myself in the basic on guard stance, foot forward, drag, foot forward, drag. So, okay. Yeah. Fun fact, you can actually do on guard stance and it's incredibly uncomfortable for fat people like me. Yeah, because the fun fact, if you ever want to try on guard stance, all you have to do is bend your knees to a point where your knees are going over your toes, put your your legs kind of apart, like you're in this weird crab position, and you have to step with your front foot forward, going forward. You have to effectively walk pigeon-toed. You take a step with your forward, and then you have to put your other foot forward. Then you have to put your back foot forward. Pretty much, you finish each step with the other. It's very weird doing it. All right. Jesus, that's not how the no. Specify. Luckily for the Pojedynek Kobiet, specify. Stuns for the next clash. The step is like you're right in front of someone. All right, so and this isn't perfect. So that's you going up there and you hitting them over the head effectively with your weapon. Okay, bounce clashes. God, I should put in combat's actually. Maybe I should put in a little in there of how combat's actually done. How combat works. Both commence the bout. First clash of both. The first clash of both of the challengers acts at the same time. At the same time with a challenge. Okay, well, actually, what we're going to do is going to do strike. Okay, I know what I'm doing. We're going to break down the actions by what they're actually doing. So, strikes. Rolling their adrenaline and bonuses. Timothy scores success is to injure their opponent. It's one of those things I knew was going to be a little bit complicated. Because in Song of Swords, what they have is initiative. and that's who determines who acts first, effectively. And if you have people who are in equal initiative, there's a chance it's a dice roll to determine who goes first, and if they're equal, then both of them hit. It's HEMA stuff. Here, I don't want that, so I have to make it a little bit, injure their opponent. Kobiet, who scored. Actually, what I should say. Actually, if the opponent has passive defense, assigns a number. If the opponent has passive defense, then the opponent assigns a number of their passive defense. Block the blow. Then the PD. Of their target. They deal damage equal to their weapon plus successes. If the opponent is also attacking, both challengers roll and the highest amount of successes has their attack go through. However, the opposing party may opt to take the entire attack with no defense, or expend any successes they possess, into deflecting the blow, and in turn the damage. No defense, but dealing their damage to the target, or expend any success they possess into deflecting the blow and in turn the damage. If the opponent is also attacking, scoring unequal defense, unequal successes. Both challengers roll, and the highest amount of successes has their attack go through. Is also attacking, scoring equal successes. Both challengers deal full damage to one another with their strikes. This can and will probably kill them. So, math-wise, how this works is, so let's say, for example, I'm dedicating 5d6 to attack. My opponent's dedicating 4d6 to their first clash. I roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5. I have 3 successes. Now, if my opponent has basic passive defense of, let's say, a PD of 2, I'm going to deal 1 damage. I have 1 success over them. That means I'm going to 1 success. That means I deal 1 plus damage, 1 plus damage of my weapon to them, which could be lethal to them, depending on if it's a great sword and you get 1 good hit on someone. Yeah, that's it. because that's all you need with a greatsword. However, let's say they attack me as well. So let's say they score 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get 2 successes. Now, we can opt to either. Now, what can happen is they can say, okay, I'm gonna lose this fight. There's no way I can actually beat this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, both of my successes go to blocking that to reduce it down to 1 success, and that's how much damage I'm going to take. Or if I have passive defense because I'm using short style and cautious, it might mitigate everything. But you're expending a lot to do nothing. While on the other hand, I can say, like, okay, he's going to hit me for 3 plus whatever the weapon damage is. I'm going to hit him for 2 plus whatever my weapon damage is, and we may just kill each other there. It's pretty much the option. However, let's say, for example, this occurs. You score 3 successes. You score 3 successes. He scores 3 successes. You do equal damage to one another, depending on what your weapons are and what strike. So if I do a downward slash, you do a left slash. We're both going to do the exact same amount of damage if we're using the same weapons and such. What I should actually put in here. Actually, no. Okay. So it's effectively the Song of Swords rule, but a lot simpler done. It's a lot more easily done. All based around successes. So that should... There we go. We're not even dealing with combat tricks yet. Fuck. Okay, so we've got our basic strikes. These are what strikes do. So what do... Then we have combat tricks. But I can probably just do this shorten its tricks. Augments strike. To do something a bit extra. Strategy of how they plan to do things. Combat tricks have to be applied before the bout begins. But do not have to be revealed to the do not have to be revealed to the opponent until it goes off. It doesn't like that. Augment. So strike to allow them to do something a bit extra. So for like tricks, for example. Let's see. We are going to have things like feints. Fake the strike to enhance another. Distribute half their... They distribute half their current clash's adrenaline to the next clash, removing the half from the bout. So pretty much the feint is, say, the feint, for example, would be applied to say, okay, I'm gonna throw 4 dice at you here. And it's like, okay, 4 dice, let's say he scores 3 successes on it. I'm gonna dedicate 3 of my passive defense. He won't get through to me. It's you saying, okay, first clash, okay, I'm dedicating 4 of my passive defense to this, and I'm going, 4 of my passive defense. It's you saying, oh, well, okay, I'm feinting, so I remove half my dice. Of those 4 dice, I remove 2, and I put 2 to my next clash. So it's just like, I forced him to expend dice to do nothing. And so he's like, oh no, I don't have 4 of my, I don't have 3 of my passive defense dice anymore. It's like, oh, damn. But you're losing out on a full attack. And it also means that if someone's attacking you, they can call your bluff. And if they're like, oh, well, I'm going to feint. Oh, I'm just stabbing you. It's like, haha, I've pulled my nasty little trick. Good news, I've just stabbed you in the chest. Oh no, you're dead. So feints are kind of that high risk, high reward. Step strike. Lose an extra step with the attack. Applied before the bat begins. Costs 80. Extra step with the attack. Reducing the strikes. Reducing the strikes, adrenaline, and 1. Let's see. So what do I want to do? So it's kind of the flail strike. Sheesh, what are some other combat tricks someone can pull off? Feinting. Let's see what we want to do. So we want to do... So we want to do a parry. So we're going to have to put parry in tricks. Okay. So if we do put a parry in tricks, that means we're going to have to do something like parry. So you parry, you stab forward, because you knocked their blade out of the way. So we're going to want to do parry. Parry riposte. The Kobiet. Block the blade with... Tends to block the blade with their own. And successes are added up. Tends to block the blade with their own. Actually, no, we want to do parry. No, God, no, fucking hell. What am I looking for? No, that's not. So we're going to want to do a beat attack. Instead of aiming for aims for their weapon instead. It expends 1 adrenaline. The Kobiet expends 1 adrenaline from the attack. Kobiet reduces the Kobiet can actually Kobiet cannot do damage to the opponent directly. But plus 2 successes. So this idea is you're effectively saying, okay, I want to try to... It's getting this situation out of the way. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure if we use the example of, you know, I'm using 46. I'm using 46. My opponent is using 46. They decide they want to say, okay, I want my I'm gonna put the beat attack strike on mine, and I'm not, and I score a 3, 5, 6, and 5, 3, 6, 6. I got 3 successes. However, they have that, and they score a 3, 5, 6, and they score a 3, 3, 5, 5. It's only 2 successes. Normally, I would do damage to them. That's the normal thing that occurs. However, because they have that beat attack, they have 4 successes, but they don't do any damage. They pretty much beat my sword away. It's your offensive defense. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. It gives... the Kobiet leaves backward. Actually, no, we're going to want to do defensive moves, so this will have to work for now. I feel like I could probably add a few more tricks here. I could probably add 1 or 2 more tricks to make it work. But that brings me to defense. And because I feel like being lazy, I can do that. Put defense right here. Make things look nice and pretty. Because I like it when things look nice and pretty. Which reminds me, I need to scroll all the way back up here. Okay, let's cry a little on the inside. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank you. I like it when things work. So we have our defense, and then we're going to do probably specials. It's either going to be specials or conversationalist ones. Or I break it down even further, do something like conversational. Conversational and grappling. Grappling being kind of dangerous, but also really damn good, because you can just throw your opponent to the ground and disarm them. That's okay. The most common defense is the passive defense. Which is all of the adrenaline dedicated to defense. Be added to any part of any clash. Can be added to any clash. Should do. offensive stance. There's an offensive stance. Via their clash pool. Their adrenaline pools first. Their clash adrenaline. Dedicated. There. Little clash adrenaline after offensive, but before defensive. So the concept here being the offense is going to reveal what their clash is going to look like. Okay, I'm like, okay, I have 3 clashes. I'm spending 3 here, 4 here, 3 here. So like, haha, this is how I'm going to spend my initial 10 adrenaline. 3, 4, 3. I have 3 I'm going to do 3 attacks. So then if you're cautious, you can say, okay, all right, I have half mine dedicated to offense, half mine dedicated to defense. And the thing is, you can pretty much put some adrenaline back. That's your, actually, no, that's, no. Let's take this away. We don't want this, actually, because I just came up with a better idea. Because the idea behind this was to make it so those with, you pretty much have to expend your, but if I go down here, adrenaline, which is all, forms a pool to draw from. Each clash. Passive defense must be breached. Deal damage to the Kobieta, but regardless of its value in a clash, if it has been used, where that's where things like feints come in, being like, oh, well, I'm going to stack my big thing here, and I'm like, oh, because you have to use, you on the defense have to think like, okay, he's got a six dice in this pool, so it's just like, is he going for an attack, or is he going to feint that and redirect it here? So it's just like, well, I'm going to put 4 of my passive defense on that 6. I'm going to put 3 on the second one. And I don't know if that last one where he's got 4 on, I guess I'll put my last 3 on there and hope for the best. It's kind of that, it's that risk reward. It's like, okay, I think I know what he's going to do, but the other person be like, yeah, I'm attacking, and then throw 3d6 and utterly annihilates you. It's just like, oh, cool. He did not do anything when I planned, and now, I'm desperately trying to come up with things. all the ones dedicated to defense. So if we do go defense here, we want to do something. Okay, so attempts to dodge out of the way of a strike. Rolling the defense versus rolling the adrenaline. Rolling their dedicated adrenaline. And instead of passive blocks, if you're doing long style, you want to do things like dodging. If the Kobiet is successful in beating the number of successes of the opponent, they end their bout. So it's pretty much like, oh, I'm going to go in there and attack you 3 times. And it's like, oh, well, I'm going to try to parry you. Bang, I'm going to knock your sword away. Beating the number of successes. But that also is countered by things like feinting. If you feint a parry, guess what? They're not doing anything. You've wasted the parry. So it's kind of, again, that back and forth. Like, okay, I'm going to feint, but you're going to parry. Okay. Wait, I should do counter. Adrenaline into preparing. And 0 or less successes. We got our basic dodge actions. Again, I feel like I should. I think there's another. I can probably get another one in here, but I don't know what that another one is. I might, after I'm done here, I might ask the Discord, being like, "Hey, this is what I've got. What am I missing?" Sort of paragraph A to Z. That's very good beer. Wish I had another one, but those things are like $12, so fuck that. Let's see. So, turn them by one. Words are more power. Or appeals to emotion. That forces uncomfortable or uncomfortable decisions, or frustrates them into doing nothing. Choices. Make uncomfortable choices or frustrates them into doing nothing. More intense the relationship between the Kobieta So if we go here, we want to do conversational. These are also going to get completely reorganized, but I need to do this here to make sure it actually works. So if we do conversational, and then obviously we want to do taunt. Each success sacrifice one of their dedicated adrenaline. Forces the opponent to sacrifice one of their dedicated adrenaline, or attack to mitigate this effect. Actually, conversational move. Aggressive or defensive either. Meaning that any stance can use them in the heat of combat. Appeal. What is emotion? Each success let's see, the Kobiet is passive defense. Does not apply. Actually, the Kobiet cannot use any passive defense or other actions during this appeal. Now, what does that mean, Notepad? Effectively, this is you throwing your arms wide and saying, "Hey, don't attack me. I know you're better than this. You won't attack me. I know you will not attack me, and I know, you're better than this. You're someone. I love you. You're the greatest person I've ever known. Why are you attacking me? Let's end this duel now." And that's it. It's also risky because if they go in for an attack, they could stab you while you have your arms wide open, be like, "Hey, stop this." I mean, like, "Hey, I don't think this is right. This isn't what we should be doing." And then you just get stabbed to the chest. It's like, oh. So an appeal is a risk. Actually, what I should do... there we go. Bladder. The adrenaline. Because if you're in an aggressive stance, you're already rolling the dedicated adrenaline. Reassign one adrenaline. Reassign one adrenaline to a different class. One adrenaline to a different clash. They are unable to due to being in short style or other restrictions. Then the adrenaline is lost. Actually, no, we'll do plus wit, plus bruv. Antagonize. Let's see, it would be it's composure. Oh. Adrenaline plus versus their opponent. Each success over. Antagonize and taunt are effectively the same thing. However, the idea is taunting can be mitigated if you attack, because you just say, I'm attacking you now. Being like, haha, you're not going to attack me. Haha, I'm stronger and better than you. Being like, am I? And then you just run up there and stab them. It's kind of calling, it's calling the bluff. There, antagonizing is literally, I'm just going to annoy you and frustrate you and make you want to kill yourself because I hate you. Each success has the opponent lose 1 to any clash. One more blabber appeal. Compose. Rolling the dedicated. Yeah, compose is the incredibly risky maneuver of I'm going to lower both our adrenalines down. These people are really heated. This is what I'm doing. I'm spending time to pretty much like try to calm everyone down. Actually, Kobiet. The Kobiet must. First or last clash. Kobiet must use this as first or last clash in the bout. And what's. How do I want to word this? It's extend off some adrenaline gain. So the idea is that if you compose, you are risking it. You're going to have less, adrenaline than them. It kind of as like a base thing. You're going to lose more adrenaline than them, but it's kind of giving you a small advantage. This is useful if you have quite a bit more adrenaline than them. You can do it just to completely kill their adrenaline and still have an advantage, or you can say, hey, this isn't worth fighting anymore. Let's calm down. Actually, birth opponents, bravado. Obviously, bravado opponents aren't going to really do anything. Actually, lose any. And let's do grapple now. Animalistic desire. There's an animalistic desire to get down dirty at points when the clash of steel fills the air. Sometimes only the satisfying smack of fists or slam to the cold ground can finish a duel properly. Is the high risk, high reward strategy of grabbing them, and attempting after that. A grapple must take place within 1 step. A grapple must take place in that and has challengers. Roll the remaining clashes adrenalines. So all the remaining clashes adrenalines together, attempting their opponent. If successful, whoever scores the highest is allowed to dictate what occurs. Okay, we want to do 3. Actually, what I can do is can I put defense here? I don't think I can actually. If you do petting 3 now, I can. So grappling is just going to get its own page unless I put conversational lower. I can do defense grappling and then make conversation its own page. That works. Because that's kind of its own unique thing. And I can put an image right there and I think that'll work. Okay. Now is I have to go back up the battlefield. Step distance. Step distance and the ground. If a Kobiet. Ends up on the ground. They spend the recovery and standoff phase. And not receiving the additional adrenaline from the standoff. If a Kobiet is attack while on the ground. I don't know why I'm trying to like capitalize ground all of a sudden. Ground is very important. I have no idea what you're talking about. Ah, god damn it, Toast. That reminds me, I'm going to have to write the murder section. I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. But, not quite. Effectively, if you're doing that, it's either completely, it's not really covered by this. Alternatively, it's going to be like more of a setup kind of thing. So it's less of the idea of I'm going up there and I'm going to now, shoot you. Because the thing is, one thing to note about this is that this setting is, I would kind of not put it even not even like medieval or anything like that. This is a time of guns. This is a very early, gunfighting period. It's I kind of put it not even really early gunfighting period. It's more of late 1800s. Because the idea is that this entire setting is happening during the Great War, but not Great War, because it's with not Austria and not Germany and not Russia. And the idea is that, oh, well, women shouldn't be handling guns. Women should be using elegant weapons like swords. And because we don't have any gunpowder left and we need to dedicate all that shit to the front, fuck. So yeah, we'll let the women duel swords. So if it comes down to that, it's kind of the idea of, if you get shot with a gun, you'll probably die. Ding! I might actually have to put in a section which is like, there are things that are inherently more lethal than others. If you find yourself honestly getting cornered by someone with a handgun or a rifle or something, you can't parry your way out of a rifle. Sorry, kids. That ain't how this works. It's like duels are more official, but if someone does, attempt to poison you or someone does attempt to do any of these things, it's not exactly a fun time. What I would probably end up doing is forcing them to make like either a blind check. Not like your anime at all. And that's one of the things I kind of want to go here. It's like, it's a little bit, it's simultaneously a lot simpler and a lot more grounded than Song of Swords, because Song of Swords has shit like magic and dwarves and stuff. But this one is just like, yeah, no, this is just literally a bunch of women who have been given imperial edict to let them duel one another to make them happy, so everyone kind of ignores the war effort that's going very poorly. Like, all right, everyone, let's stop focusing on the bad parts. Okay, everybody. So, yeah, if it does come down, I'm gonna have to put that as a side note, probably being like, what if I get shot by a man with a gun? Being like, you're dead. Oof. Might actually have to put in a thing about pistol duels too, but come on. If you're gonna play a game called the Women's Duel with the entire thing is about, you know, sword fencing, you're gonna deal with it, whether you like it or not. Let's see, throw kind of force. That reminds me with ground. They have all of their passive defense. They have all dedicated to they may still expend any remaining adrenaline. Don't know how best to do that. Pretty much what I want to do is, like, if you get knocked to the ground and someone dashes over to you to stab you, you're probably not going to live. Like, it's probably game over there, matey. But the one thing I would want to do if I were to do something like that, if you get knocked to the ground, is pretty much you holding your sword up and having them fall on it. I don't know how to do that in an elegant manner. Probably do something like, yeah, we can just probably do something like that. So it's kind of like that last remaining oh fuck. I should defend themselves. So it's kind of like your last. So this is kind of like your last redress. But again, if at that point you probably want to surrender, honestly, you can just say like, nah. Wait a second, that reminds me. There we go. So yes, I do want to put in the option to, if you feel like you are double fucked and you're not going to be able to do it. Also, thank you, not your mom Syrian, for following. Thank you. We officially have 46 followers. Thank you. This is great. I like it when people follow. I don't know why you do, but here we are. That does mean that way I get to update this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always willing to answer. I'm sorry I didn't catch it right away. Let's see, Blaberton. Surrender, because I want to give the option to surrender, because if you don't give them the option to surrender kind of mid-bout, it's kind of the, I know I'm not going to survive another bout, but we're also in the standoff phase. Fuck, okay, I give up. Ding, you win. Forcing them 2 steps back, knocking them to the ground. What would be Throw would be kind of like, okay, I've got them in a grapple, I'm shoving them away. Actually, what we can do is we can call that shove. And then we'll call this the throw, the Kobieta. The Kobieta tosses the grapple target. Actually, the Kobieta knocks. Now, do I want to add the completely cancer one? Half of me wants to add a very cancer move. The other half of me does not. Oh, thank you for following. Big Guy Bigot. Welcome aboard. In Hellish Court, if you grapple and they're tired enough, what you do is immediately win. You grab them, you throw their arms in the air, you take your sword and you slit it along their gut, and you win. That's what I mean by the cancer move. Because it would it's thematic to do. It's you grabbing someone and tossing them. They are at an inherent disadvantage. They have lost pretty thoroughly, and it's you finishing the fight pretty definitively because you're going to kill them because you're slicing their guts open. That's why I say it's kind of a cancer move, because immediately the situation changes when you have an auto kill in any game you play. If you have an auto kill move, the game does change. Even something as lethal as this game, where again getting hit once or twice could be completely lethal. But I'm part of me is a little worried that it's going to be rampantly abused, which maybe that's good to encourage people to, kind of not take that risk of, grappling or something like that. Actually, what I can do, I can still put that in. Knife or like a smaller sword, so you can't really do it with a great sword. To a degree. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Like I'm seeing like Not Your Mom or Sin or in Big Guy Bigot, it was 5 minutes and 2 minutes ago, but they might have followed, like 2 minutes ago, before I even got it, or like the followers updated. But usually it's pretty consistent. My little ticker on here, no, that's just me typing. Because the actual like stream manager system, it's notoriously kind of funky. But yeah, no, I'm just doing like this. This is all just me. And once we hit 50, I become a real boy. That's my one big thing, and that's what I'm happy about. So thank you guys for joining me. I don't know why. I'm just some asshole who drinks. Got successes for a grappling check. I'm gonna spend their standoff. So it's kind of disarming someone means I'm going to take away their adrenaline. You know, takes a definitive stance and stabs their grappled opponent. Wounds, which health I'm going to work with tomorrow, but it's pretty much everything's going to be based off a number of wounds each one has. The benefits of being a big boy on Twitch, being a real boy, outside of the fact that people can actually change the quality. This is why, fun fact, that's actually one of the reasons why why things look a little bit fuzzier than they used to, because I actually went down to 720p. But if you are not affiliated, you actually cannot change the quality on stream. So that makes it kind of hard for other people who don't have great internet to actually watch, which I think is the dumbest thing I've ever had the displeasure of thinking about, which is really weird to me that Twitch doesn't allow that. Even if it's just like, oh, you can only use like 480, that's kind of weird. But yeah, that's one thing. In addition to, that's when you get your first round of emotes and stuff like that. So it's kind of the idea of you are now an affiliate. You are now, you know, someone who is not at the bottom list of everything, because people actually, for some reason, want to interact with you in more ways than one. And that means I can actually use fucking emotes that aren't like the really trash default ones. Which, fun fact, they're all just going to be notepads. That's all they're going to be. That's what they always were. What would be another good grappling move? Oh wait, that immediately ends. And both challenge. That immediately ends. After the standoff is only the grappled. Only the grapple challenger gains the bonus adrenaline. Both roll their full adrenaline amounts again. Without augmentation, without bonuses. except for grappling. If the grappled scores more successes, they break out of the grapple. If they fail, the grappler wins the duel by subduing their opponent. So the advantage of grappling is kind of your, I would say, kind of a definitive win. Being like, this is your ability to go up there and solidly say, okay, I'm grabbing you, I'm knocking I'm knocking away. It's it's a risk reward, because it's risky to go up close because you're probably going to get stabbed by someone who's smart. But if you fail it, there's a chance they're going to grab you. If they succeed by enough, they're going to gut you. They are going to grab you and they are going to shove their sword in your gut and they're going to pull it out and you're going to die. However, if you're successful, you can get them in a hold. That's pretty much the non-lethal way of winning. It's you put them down, you hold them down, be like, submit, or I'm going, or I'm going to knock you out. And if they can say, okay, you win, all right, no, you don't. And if they succeed, again, the Imperial Auditor would call it, being like, yeah, no. This is why I like having Twitch chat here. When people wonder, like, why do you stream? This isn't really like. This is why I like having Twitch chat here, because they make things like this and they point things out like that I won't think of because. There we go. Yeah, this is it. This is going to be the rule. The other rule, which is the hey GM, I want to, I'm within one distance of them. I don't want to grapple them. I want to hit them in the ear and stun them. That's what I want to do. I want to stun them and ruin their clash. All right, assign, roll. If you succeed, you succeed. If you fail, you fail. Hey, Auditor. I have a gun. I'm really close. Can I pull my gun out and shoot them? Roll your adrenaline. Assign adrenaline, make it during the clash. Yeah, the other is going to be the other. So if you can think about it, it's pretty... Everything should roughly be here in terms of how things work. So if you want to do something like, oh, I want to stun someone by hitting them in the, clapping them in the ear, you would probably do the, where is it? Where'd you go? I know I saw you. I saw you. I saw you. I know you're there. I knew I put it in here. It was the stun move. Oh, Pummel Strike. Smacks with pummel of their weapon if successful. Stuns for the next clash. Must be within 1 step. Yeah, that would be pretty much it. You'd be doing like a Pummel Strike, just reflavoring it at that point. Actually, yeah, you can probably add something in here. Yeah. That's how you just do stuns. If you want to do like a bigger stun, like, hey, I'm gonna blunt force trauma them on the head with my great sword. I don't actually want to hit them with the like actual blade part. I just want to bonk them on the head. You can do something like that and make it a big stun, or just knock them out. Come on, hit me. Hit me. This is what I do. I revel in the pain. It makes me feel human. Now I'm worried. Oh god. Uh, yeah, no, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt Pathfinder has a lot of those little things, but it's like I think one of the difficulties here is I'm using a very limited system at the end of the day. This is not a very it's a dice pool system using 3 attributes, and that's just about it. I have a set of adrenaline to work with. At the end of the day, Pathfinder actually has quite a bit of mechanics working. I've said this before with different games, but the more mechanics and more things you have, the more you can actually reference later on in different mechanics. So when it comes to things like to me, term wise, what I have is I have your limbs, I have 3 attributes, I have basic things like successes, I have what the clashes and adrenaline, and that's about it. That's about it. Pathfinder, on the other hand, has various saves. It has various effects, spell effects, things like that. Like there's a dozen little things with Pathfinder, and that's why Pathfinder is so big, is because they kept adding and kept iterating on those little or smaller concepts. Because there's a reason the trip fighter exists. It's because tripping was an entirely valid tactic, and there was an entire set in the rulebook dedicated to I'm going to trip someone. Things like attacks of opportunity. There's a dozen different things about attacks of opportunity, and there's a dozen different things I bet you that can augment them in some way. I'm not working with that. I don't have that. It's like I would like to say like, oh wow, a lot of this is stuff and interesting. Like this entire thing has no. Oh god, this entire thing has no rules in it. Like at the end of the day, this is your half the game is split up into court, and now half the game is split up into uh the dueling. This entire section is just lore. Like I don't actually have that much bite to work with. I might do something later when I start doing things like weapons and such, but I might reference things. I might, after tonight, I might look at things like Pathfinder and other games, see what I can find. Well, that's kind of one of the other things I wanted to go with this game was I wanted to make it deliberately more formal than, say, a traditional quote fight, because it's you are a bunch of people who are being trained to do this, and this was like, oh, this is the official duel. This is what you're supposed to do officially. So I hope you kind of understand what I'm meaning here. Pathfinder's a couple hundred pages. This is 27 as of right now. Let's see. We got 7,650 words. Probably by the end of it, because I got combat all done combat's pretty much done. I might do a quick run through of it, see if it works in my head. Might be able to actually finish everything up tomorrow. If you know, I'm gonna review everything tonight, obviously, and tomorrow when I'm a little bit more sane and rational, you can say. But let's actually pass. Yeah. So this is one of my prime examples. This is the dirty fighting feat from Pathfinder. I know this isn't probably what you're referencing, but again, you're referencing combat maneuvers. But even this single feat, you take advantage of a distracted foe, combat maneuver check against flow you are flanking. That's 2 mechanics already. You can forego the +2 bonus to your attack roll for flanking. That's number 3. Not provoke an attack of opportunity. 4. If you have feat of ability to attempt a combat maneuver, that's 5 right there, because if you have a feat or another ability without provoking an attack of opportunity, instead increases bonus for attack roll. And flanking +4 for the combat maneuver check. Dex, int, combat expertise, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you're looking at about 5, 6 things that are kind of being used even in this single feat. When we go to combat maneuvers itself, you can kind of see the yeah, you have to worry about, you know, your CMD, your combat maneuver defense, 10 plus base attack plus strength modifiers plus dex mod plus special size mod plus miscellaneous mods. That's 1. Oh god, it clicked something I wasn't supposed to. Stop that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got about 5 things on top of the. Then we can't forget about the size modifiers, you know, to determine its successes. Oh, bull rush. Is bull rushing? Okay, that's about 5 things there. Let's see. Okay, dirty trick right here. Situational attack that imposes a penalty on post. Click King Sand and the opponent blind him for a turn. Blinds its own mechanic. What does blind do? As standard action. Okay, so standard action's its own thing. We can't forget about the other different actions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 6 different mechanics, all that do something slightly different, by the way. I can do this. However, there's a distinct reason why fighters in, you know, D20 games and their derivatives often rely on something called the feat taxes, because there's a lot of things with them. Kobiet doesn't have that. Pojedynek Kobiet does not really have that. I mean, let's see. To armor class, there's no armor class. Like, you don't realize how little few things there. That's why I like keeping things fairly open at points. That's why the rule 0 here, my little rule 0 note here, the other is here. Smoother and simpler. It's simpler. Smoother, maybe. Again, it's one of those things, like a lot of the ideas I like putting in is kind of the concept of the rule 0. I'm a huge fan of rule 0 because you cannot account for everything. That is a physical impossibility that I think a lot of people who do really crunchy games try to do, and I think that's always kind of, to me, a fool's errand when it comes to some project. More focused your project is, you know, the less you need, arguably even the more you need it. But when you're doing something like this, someone brings out a gun. Do I need to stat out every single kind of gun? No, that's not what this game's about. This game is about women dueling. This is a game fundamentally about noble women picking up a sword and trying to stab one another. What's the gun rules then? Gun rules are you die. You get shot, you die. You know, having all these different stun effects and different modifiers and things like armor class, and that's not really in here. I could put it in, but at the end of the day, I don't feel that that's for a different game. That's for a game about going adventuring and fighting things and more commonly. This is a game about getting mad at your most hated enemy and deciding that you want to challenge her to a duel, but you have to bait her into challenging you to a duel so you have the more favorable opportunity. That's what this game is. It's at its core, I think it's a social game, with the combat being a means to an end. It's about the women's duel, but it's more about the situation of the Pojedynek Kobiet. Of, hey, what happens if you give a bunch of people the right to kill one another? And it's this, and it was kind of a response almost to Thirsty Sword Lesbians for that reason. Because the idea kind of behind things like Thirsty Sword Lesbians is this, like, let's talk about feelings. Here, it's let's talk about feelings, but why do we have swords? We have swords because someone's given us the right to use them. Our differences are impossible to deal with. The only solution we have now is I'm going to challenge you to a duel. Duels are scary. Duels are lethal. I can put in 1,000,001 mechanics for it, but I don't think that's appropriate. If you do want 1,000,001 mechanics for things like that, Song of Swords does it better. Yeah, swords have feelings. Sword lives matter. That's all I gotta say there. But sword, it's the idea behind it. Because if you think about it, Thirsty Sword Lesbians about to me anyway, Thirsty Swords Lesbians about people who happen to have swords having feelings. This game, what I'm trying to get across anyway, is the people who have these swords and how they use them to express their feelings. I hate you. I despise you. I would like nothing more than to see you dying and bleeding in the street. I can't kill you. That's murder. But I can duel you, and I can pretty much embarrass you in front of everyone by dueling you and winning. But what happens if you do kill that person? What happens if pretty much you get the better of yourself and you lunge forward and you stab them through the eye socket? They're dead. They're gone. Sayonara. Oops. Bye. I hope you like it. What's the farther reaching consequences of that? That's kind of the idea I wanted to go for Pojedynek Kobiet, is to get that feeling of, rather than swords being a side thing or feelings being a side thing, they're intertwined. It's a game about feelings. It's a game about swords. It's a game about people with swords having feelings and making bad decisions, or making good decisions, or just killing people because you want to have big dick energy. I don't know. I'm not playing it. You do you. I think so far, I think things are going pretty good. I could probably actually wrap this game up tomorrow. I think that'll probably be my plannerino, my strategio, because I'm not going to have actually that many weapons. Comparatively speaking, I'm probably only going to have about 5-6 weapons. But it's not really about the weapons. It's about the people who use them. How would I defeat the movie The Ring? Don't watch videos your friends send you. That's just kind of rule fucking one. Um, Outside of that, no, I'm pretty fucked anyway. I look at it. If I do The Ring, honest with you, kind of fucked, because inevitably, scary Japanese girls are gonna appear out of nowhere and be less like, I'm okay with this, and then immediately die horribly. Yeah, I've become broken. You're not allowed to answer. I'm not allowed to die anymore. The Japanese ghost girls run away too fast. I guess there's advantage of being the literal fat, ugly bastard out there in the world. But yeah. Nah, that'd be too easy. That's the problem. Because it's supernatural don't give a shit. That's the thing with the ring. She's creepy Japanese girl, so she's going to like inevitably do something, being like, haha, I've killed all those people using the power of magic and anime. But it's like that being that's like, come on, come get me. Come on. Hit me. What are you gonna do? Not slither on this fat ugly bastard? I know you wouldn't. Welcome to Pojedynek Kobiet. Fat ugly bastard edition. Let's see. Everything's good here. But yeah, that's as I say for everything. I'll answer any question you have. But I think I'm gonna call it here. I've been streaming for about 2 hours and 2.5 hours. Fuck. Didn't mean to be this long, but that's what happens. With the haunted camera. Spooky grinning ghost man does spooky grin things. He kidnaps the kids. No. Am I thinking of the right one? Fun fact, I hate horror movies. I hate horror movies. I've never been very good with them. Slashers, fine. Polaroid. Actually, Polaroid. It's what we do on stream. Wait, this came out in 2019. Oh, Toast, what is... Oh, no, this looks terrible. I'm gonna have to totally... Oh, wow, this looks absolutely horrible. Oh, God, jump scares. I hate jump scares. Slow, insidious horror, I can do. Fucking jump scares, no. No, too spook, can't do it. Okay, it's Philip Griffin. I was so scared that I'm like, did Peter Griffin do this movie? Alright, yeah, things are looking pretty good. Going with this, probably on Friday we can actually convert everything over to place, person, does things. Yes, that thing, that words. But alright, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you all for watching. Godspeed, good luck. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I am, as they would like to say, away.